That's what I'm talking about. That's real right there. You called this shit. You called it. Day one. Never expected that. Seriously, honestly, you called this shit.
Steve, you will fall in love with me. You will take me away from this place.
Full disclosure, news and commentary number 158, 158, 158, 158, 158. Gruesome. Better. Welcome to Full Disclosure. I'm going to bury the lead. That opening video, by the way, was Shad Gaspar. Recent Hall of Fame inductee, Warrior Ward, died trying to save his kid. With MVP watching Kofi's title win, and you saw the effect that it had on them. Representation matters, as it says, and pretty great stuff. Thought I would share that with you. Lots to talk about, but here's the lead that I'm not going to bury. 1,500 people saw wrestling in Georgia last weekend. 1,500 people, which is a record in recent memory, barring any show with Mucha Lucha. Let me say that. If Mucha Lucha's on the thing, you can tack on an extra 1,000 to 2,000, but 1,500, that's 500 people at 2 nights of Hardcore Hell, 550 people at Southern Honor, 320 for the debuting group that split from Southern Violence, but are doing their thing, 320 plus in Athens, Georgia, and then Action Wrestling with 200 of real legit fans. It's over 1,500 people. That alone is worth commending. Another thing worth noting, all the reports, Larry Goodman and others covering the 2 nights of Hardcore Hell. Southern Honor covered by Rob Rod's report, and then Duke chiming in with notes and to kind of beef up and supplement Rob Rod's report. Jabari letting us know what happened at Action Wrestling. And then reports coming. Folks, it's amazing. This July, here's another number for you. 8 years Larry and I have been doing Tipping Point podcast, and when you look at the list of guests that we've had on, it's jaw-dropping. It's jaw-dropping. And we have a lot of people to thank for that. All right, let's look at some stuff. Boop. What is that? Somebody talking about Nash Carter. I'm very much into this story. Nash Carter, of course, with I'm sorry. This story just pisses me off so much. It pisses me off because when you look at his wife, who's gone out of her way to try to ruin the guy, and you're saying, well, you don't even know if those abuse allegations are true or not. I will agree with that. I don't know. But neither do you. And if ever there was a case of any kind of absolute statement does not apply, it's this idea of you must always believe women. Because this is a case where, in the best case scenario of what we're talking about her. If her story is to be believed, these are the things that we're saying took place. He was drunk a year ago and hit her in the mouth. Her first reaction was to go and make sure she got pictures of it. Now, she's a pro wrestler who gets hit all the time, gets dinged up, injured, hurt. But she takes the pictures of getting hit, forgives him, this is her, according to her story, holds on to those pictures to release on April 4th, 2 days after she says, me and my husband get along great, everything's great. While she's saying all of this, he has not lived with her for months and has filed for divorce. And when it was clear that he was not coming back, she releases these pictures and said he hit me a year ago. And then when that didn't get the traction that she wanted, because by all accounts, people at NXT were inclined to go like, we're just not believing her. Numerous examples of boyfriends that she's had in the past who were scared of her, who she hit and abused, and showed signs of borderline personality disorder. And you're like, Steve, why are you talking about this so much? Because it's allegations like the ones she's making that are probably fucking not true. And then when it looked like she couldn't get traction with that shit, and keep in mind, she's trying to reconcile with him publicly, but yet trying to get him fired. And then she releases the picture of him doing the Nazi salute with the mustache. And for some people, that's a deal breaker. And I get why that would be a deal breaker. But he's a teenager when he did that picture, shaving his beard and mustache off for the first time. And he did this dumb little thing, sent the picture to a friend. It's a friend that she got a hold of it. And again, held on to this thing to use as a weapon. And so he got fired for that. So there's somebody who wrote to fan services at WWE.com. And I'll just read it here. It's quite long, but I think it's important because I think there's a lot of things here that need to be looked at and thought about. Hi, I'm the director of a children's ministry, and I'm also a pediatric nurse. I'm writing to express concern over your recent firing of Nash Carter. As someone who works with teens and children, I believe the firing without an investigation sends a horrible message to our future generations. If he was released due to the picture someone dug up of him as a teenager, parentheses, which clearly shows him years ago as a teenager doing a stupid gesture while goofing around, and does not show Nash Carter years later as a grown man, close parentheses. What that message sends is that if they make a mistake as teens, there is no redemption or restoration. It tells them it is impossible to chase their dreams if they have ever made a mistake, because even if they grow and mature and better themselves, they will always be judged by mistakes that they made as a teen, and live their whole life paying consequences for a stupid mistake they made before their brain was even fully developed as an adult. This is important to note. Does that mean if you're a teenager, you should be able to do anything and be forgiven for it? Of course not. But it does mean even a system as fractured and broken as our legal system acknowledges that if you're a minor chances are we are not going to wreck the course of your fucking life for making a mistake. Taking a picture doing a Sieg Heil salute with a Hitler stash, is it a great idea? No. Is it something that a lot of people have probably done? Probably. And in the age before pictures were strewn about, would it have meant anything? Probably not. Um, to the people who are horrified by this, and I want you to be honest, is there one among you? You can sit here with your hand up and then lower your hand if you have ever used the term, said the word rape in a joking manner, similar to what Sammy Guevara did and got punished for, by the way, without intent, or expressed interest in a rape fantasy or anything like that. Okay, you still got your hand up, maybe? Ooh, that's really good. I don't know. You ever do any kind of illegal drug? Smoke weed? Do coke? Use prescription medication in a way that you're not supposed to, that you were not prescribed, took somebody else's medication? I don't know. You ever make an incredibly sexist or racist joke? Because these are all things that'll get you in massive trouble, right? Now, am I equating everything with him doing the Nazi salute with a Hitler stash? No, I think in a lot of ways those things are way worse. Honestly. And again, I can see, it's like, Steve, why would you even talk about this and take a chance? Because fuck you. Because people don't talk about these things because they're scared. Fuck it, I'm not scared. This guy's getting railroaded, I think. And do I think that he's completely blameless? And I hate even bringing this kind of stuff up because then people take that as the excuse of like, well, see, then he deserved bad shit to happen to him. No, I mean, he's not officially divorced yet, and I don't know the terms of his relationship, but I imagine if he's sleeping on the couch of his fucking tag team partner in his wife's house, and has been for months, which she did not bring up, which Kimberly did not bring up, which is certainly weird that she wouldn't have brought that up, that they're clearly not together in any meaningful way. Do I still think it's weird that he's dating somebody in the NXT staff? Yeah. And did she show great judgment by chiming in, the person that Nash is seeing, by chiming in and then deleting it? No. But this is what young people do. And if he did this Sieg Heil thing as a teenager, does it mean there shouldn't be consequences? There's going to be consequences. You're working for the WWE, and obviously they're going to take a hardline approach. But again, I think it's one of these things where AEW is going to greatly assist wrestling in a way that people can't even comprehend. I was reminded of this because I'm listening to like a series, somebody compiled a bunch of like Max Caster raps, and I'm looking at the one where he's rapping at CM Punk, and CM Punk can't even hide his amusement at the rap, even though the jokes are all at his expense. And I thought, you know, that guy did do a really bad, tasteless rap. I thought when he went after Julia Hart, it was kind of mean-spirited, and then he made a reference to a couple of things that got him suspended. And Max Caster's response was really childish. Like he was going to sell off his gear and quit wrestling and all this stuff. Because again, he was upset. But he got his head together and he came back to AEW. And they're an integral part of the show again. Again, didn't cast him out into the fucking, outworld. The shadow realm, never to be heard from again. Now, does this mean Nash Carter can never come back? Yeah, but there's a stain there. A stain caused by his wife, who supposedly wanted to get back together with him, but now she's out to ruin him. Here's what I suspect, however. I think people will hire some Nash Carter to work their shows. I just imagine that will be the case. Kimberly's a whole different thing. Do you want her if you're Impact Wrestling? That's what I hope. I hope that the social mores catch up to this and people use some common sense and go, fuck, man. There's something about this that isn't right. And she's leveraging things in such a way as to ruin somebody. And I'm watching dramas play out on Facebook amongst Georgia wrestling people. They and their baby mamas or whoever, like, airing out this dirty laundry shit. And here's what I got to tell you. The new generation takes pride in receipts, right? Holding on to things that they can use to win arguments and to potentially destroy people. But there's something that I would love to happen in 2022 and beyond. And you know, I'm a fan of nuance, and I'm a fan at looking at things as they are. And often it causes debates. But I tend to think that I'm helping, along with others, to swing things towards the realm of the rational. Because so many people that I know don't deal in the rational. So I'm hoping to sway things into the realm of the rational. But here's another thing I would love added. In addition to nuance, is this idea of getting rid of absolutist thought and having the idea of a path and a road to forgiveness. I think it's important. And I think we don't have to tribe up. We can just look at things for what they are. And this is important, wrestling people, because I've got this to talk about next. Nobody is dumber and easier to work than wrestling people, and that needs to change too. Pro sports do not run on an artificial storyline where multiple teams and multiple people and individuals competing in actual sport conspire to make storylines happen. Do you understand how fucking dumb you sound? How dumb you make wrestling look? How dumb of a person you are to believe? For example, that's the NFL team that they wanted to win. And so every team got together, or they got the key players together, and everybody's kept their mouths shut about it. Shut the fuck up. And all the people yelling and screaming that the slap at the Oscars you think it was fake now? All that dumb meme about, here's this, and I have people who are actors or stunt people or pro wrestlers who say, pro wrestlers are a judge on whether somebody is faking something or not. My fucking God, people. But, here's the thing. Can you be worked? I don't know. Let me throw this up there. Boop. This is Logan Paul. Did a great job at WrestleMania. He was, not too long ago, he was disgraced, Logan Paul, right? On his YouTube thing, he filmed somebody who had committed suicide and hung herself in the suicide forest in Japan. And was vilified for this, and then went on this fake apology tour and tried to get his career back, and, you know, all this kind of stuff. But here's what Logan Paul learned that a lot of other people learned. That the path of forgiveness means you eat a lot of shit and you kiss a lot of ass. That's the only way to path to redemption now. That's what it feels like. That you have to humble yourself. And I think there's a reason for that. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but what it leads to is people who are willing to debase themselves and lie in order to get the forgiveness of others. So Logan Paul, when he's talking about this idea of what did he think about pro wrestling now that he's stepped in there and done it. And this is a guy who's done like real fighting, competitive fighting, right? And he goes, that surface is hard. It is not bouncy. It is not a trampoline. There is no give. It's plywood. It's wood. Wrestling is fake. Shut the fuck up. I am sore. The left side of my body kills me right now. Those are real slams. They hurt. And I saw pro wrestling people jacking off to this thing and like, yeah, that's right. Da, 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 da. Because they think Logan Paul is putting over pro wrestling. He's putting over himself. He's putting over the idea that he respects the business so much so he can get hired again. It is he that said, I want Miz to turn on me at the end, because in his mind, he would come back as a babyface and get another payday. And look at what he says. That surface is hard. It is not bouncy. It is not a trampoline. There is no give. A pro wrestling ring has no give. A pro wrestling ring, especially the WWE ring, which is one of the biggest in the industry, it has no give. I'm not saying it's not solid. Okay, I've trained fucking wrestlers. I've wrestled. I've done all that shit. But come the fuck on. Shut the fuck up. I'm sore. Left side of my body kills me right now. Those are real slams. Wrestling people, no one is easier to work than you, and you gots to stop. And of course you're the easiest to work because you think you fucking know everything about everything. Humble your goddamn selves. Try forgiving somebody. And I can forgive people who make grandiose statements. That's part of wrestling. That's just part of life. But so quick. So slow to analyze, so quick to be worked. And people in the entertainment industry, everything can be looked at. And you can do this wonderful thing. You can wait and think about something before you speak and have an opinion on it. gwhnewsandnotes.blogspot.com from the Rob Rod report, which is a great tool, right? He lets you know who's running shows. All the wrestlers who are looking for a place to sort of jump in on a show or sit and watch a show or make connections, Rob Rod lays it all out for you. By the way, this thing about Ox. Let me say this. The idea of helping Ox out and getting to ride around and go from show to show and help set up a ring, is it something that everybody should do? I don't know about that. But here's the person I think that should do it. Are you a wrestler that feels like you've plateaued in some way, shape, or form? I'm just going to speak in wide generalities. Do you feel like you've plateaued? Maybe the reason is because you haven't been pushed out of your comfort zone in a while. And let me tell you, interning for Ox and helping him out will push you out of your comfort zone. You'll be forced to be somewhere on time. I made fun of that one meme where wrestling people were like, early mornings, late nights. Like fucking wrestling people get up before, get the fuck. But haven't actually worked, haven't actually paid dues, haven't actually meet people, and these promotions that you would go to, which are amongst the top ones in the state, to brand new ones, to all the others who would rent a ring or rent the services of Ox, you would be there and have the opportunity to not only work these shows, but have people see you differently, right? Oh, that's the guy that's helping out Ox. You think that doesn't matter? It matters. And the fact that the Georgia wrestling community in general, and by the way, before I forget to do it, Southern Honor, um, making sure the boys were paid through the donations on their free show is great. Giving the extra money to Ox is even better. Um, and I know he was joking, but Duke saying that Gary should be considered for Book of the Year is fucking so atrocious. I can't even get over it. From what I heard, it's actually Adrian Hawkins and Logan Creed that were running the back, but I could be wrong about that. But nonetheless, Southern Honor did their thing in a chaotic effort. Anarchy's Saturday night is being called an early show of the year candidate, and their Friday show outdrew the Saturday show, which is unbelievable. But both nights combined drew 500. And their Hall of Fame, I was going to say, it's the only Hall of Fame that has almost a pure legitimacy about it, and a lot of people deserve a lot of credit for that. And when you think about the powers that have come together to make that situation happen, you had Steve Prazak in the same building as Bill Behrens, as Rick Michaels. I mean, this is fucking insane. I don't think people understand how crazy this is. And Jeff Bailey. I mean, we are in this unbelievable time. So you have Rob Rod putting up this report, which is just great information in general. Duke Ingram chiming in with a Hardcore Help preview. You have Puerto Rican Lucha Libre and Southeastern News. You have the Southern Honor Wrestling Report. Then next, you have Larry Goodman's Hardcore Hell Night 1 report. And then the Hardcore Hell Night 2 report. Then you have the Classic City Wrestling Report. Classic City Wrestling is that group that drew 320 by Rob Rod. Action Wrestling Report from Jabari. And then Duke chiming in with his notes from the notebook. What the fuck, man? You have Jeff writing shit. I'm going to get this article written this week by Hell or High Water. Though now I've been called into work yet again. Dude, this is a great time. But and then you had Reverend Dan doing a seminar that got nothing but high levels of praise. There's so much great shit going around. If you're a wrestler that's caught in a rut, go fucking intern for Ox. And see what it's like. That's just my easy advice. And remind yourself. And let other people see you in a different way. Because Ox has a high level of respect. And interning for him is not only a good way that you can gain self-respect and know that you're really paying dues and really networking and meeting people in a way that is infinitely easier than, showing up someplace, putting in your headphones and not interacting with anybody. Wrestling is social. And here's a great chance to take advantage of it. That's my hard pitch for it. I imagine it'll be more successful than people who are just sharing the idea. And that's not to patronize the people that are sharing the idea. It's wonderful that the message is getting out there. But I'm explaining why it's fucking good. And if you're a wrestler listening to this, and chances are if you're watching me, you are a wrestler, think about it. Who had the biggest weekend? I think there was a number of people, Scott Mason amongst them, who had two great nights, right? But I'm going to say it was Hold My Beer fucking Hansen. Because even though I thought the way that they won the tag titles on paper just looked like shit, I think that was just a fucking shitty how that went down. And I mean, some stuff you can't help. You can't help Chip getting injured, and you can't help two baby faces beating one in order to win it. The whole thing is it just looked like shit to me. But I think the accomplishment is amazing. And then to go there on the next night and wrestle that main event of Hardcore Hell Night 2 and just fucking rip it up and be one of the guys in that fucking bloodletting and Izzy's wife. And I mean, just all that crazy shit. When you look at the deathmatch thing as it's sort of found its way to Southern Honor and Anarchy and all this stuff, all of these folks, you're going to learn when people like Jeff tell you some shit or I tell you some shit, shit's happening. Sorry if this whole thing is coming across very angry. I'm not angry. I will say the Nash Carter thing has me really upset because that guy's life, I'm not going to say it's fucked up beyond repair. I will say it has taken a detour at a time where you at least want it to. And that needs to be fixed. And there needs to be a decision made by wrestling people when it comes to that shit. And an analysis. And everything moves like a pendulum. Anybody who knows me has heard me talk like this before. And I get that a lot of people who are victims, particularly women, particularly people of color, were victimized and not listened to, or didn't feel like they could speak up for very good reasons. And now the pendulum has swung so far over that even when something is demonstratively false, we feel compelled to pretend that it is true. And that should never be the case. And we should always look at things in context. And it's why when I went after the Palmetto Predator, whatever the fuck those assholes were, I was expecting a huge backlash against me, but the opposite happened. A bunch of people contacted me and said, I'm fucking glad you said something because there was something about it that bothered me, and it's true, right? Like, you stare into the abyss stares back into you. And if you end up being this person who oversimplifies the world, I'm telling you, what happens is you help set the precedent to become a victim of that kind of bullshit. And that's what we're trying to prevent. In any case, kudos to the shows for doing so well. Kudos to all the people who are helping to make Georgia wrestling history, and in both senses of that word, the website and the notion of Georgia wrestling. You guys are making history. Southern Honor drawing 500 this many times in a row. I don't believe it's 5 months. I think it's 3. Doesn't fucking matter. Like, it's still an impressive feat, and I thought it was really smart for them to do a free show so they could keep the 500 thing going. It's really great. And kudos to Anarchy for doing this 2-night thing. And you could see the pride, even in somebody like Big Andy, right? I might look at like, oh my God, Big Andy won a title in that building, and I might get all snobby about it. But then I think like he has a genuine pride and a joy in doing that. And he did it in front of a huge fucking crowd. So their people turned out for that. And there's something really exciting about that. People are excited about wrestling. Hell, I'm looking at Raw right now, and you know what I'm seeing? Is it a good show? No, it's fucking Raw. But I will say that a good WrestleMania has created a groundswell of momentum. And that's fucking great, too. It's fucking great. And I got the Usos holding up both tag titles. Holy shit. It's fucking cool. In any case, this whole goddamn thing felt like the commentary, so I don't think we need to do much more. I will say this. In a month, I'm going to be in Georgia. I'm going to be at IWE, I think for their biggest card to date, in front of their biggest crowd to date. And I'm very excited. And seeing all the people put up pictures of the awards that they've won, seeing Matt Hankins, who's a guy I think is fucking brilliant, and seeing him have such success at Anarchy, seeing Todd rewarded for his hard work, and not just hard work, folks, there's a difference between working hard and consistently putting in great work. And Todd has done just that for fucking years. From the back when I considered Todd a rival, I would fucking get mad. Him and Bill would win the goddamn Booker Award, and I'm like, fuck them, they're fucking boring, and I'm whatever. At the end of the day, years of great work put in. And Matt Hankins is now getting that point where it's like, years of great work. These are people who are here, year in, year out. And you know what? Southern Honor is passing the test of time. Now, it's COVID fucked things up, and when people go like 3 years, and it's like fucking year and a half, then 2 years if it didn't fucking happen. But that's bullshit, right? They're fucking on their shit right now, and it's fucking exciting. And places are, everybody's pushing each other to keep up. And people with their shit attitudes, I don't apologize for having this forum. I have fucking created this forum in which to speak on shit. And my kid pointed this out to me. They're like, Dad, it's either two ways with you. Either your audience has expanded, or even on the videos where you don't get as many views, when you look at the percentage of people who watch your videos to who are on your Patreon, it's incredible. And I thought about it, and I went, you're right. There's a lot of people supporting me. So thank you. But I ain't fucking going anywhere. And shit's really good. But keep looking for those opportunities to make it even better. And as much as I always try to knock down the bullshit icon stuff of like, oh, this wrestling wisdom is impeachable, there's one thing the one general notion that I think still applies, and it's this: 2 ears, 1 mouth, because you should listen twice as much as you speak. And I think there's a number of people, if they even just shut up and see if that applies to you. Are you speaking way more than you actually hear and listen to others and take it in? Don't just tell yourself you do it. Do you do it? Because it's a simple exercise that would probably help a lot. In any case, this has been Full Disclosure.